Chapter 13 is about prejudice. Prejudice is a hostile or negative attitude towards people in a distinguishable group based on their membership in that group. Prejudice is the most common and most dangerous behavior. Prejudice can lead into extreme hatred, to brutality, murder, war, and even genocide. Maya Angelou says, "Prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible." Prejudice is an emotionally powerful attitude. Attitudes are made up of three components: cognitive, affective or emotional, and behavioral. The cognitive component are beliefs or thoughts that make up your attitude. Affective or emotional component is the emotional link to attitude, like anger or warmth, and the intensity of the emotion, like mild or uneasiness. And behavioral component is one's actions. I'm going to look further into each of these components. The cognitive component, we are born with the ability to notice different categories, but experience shapes the ability. We rely on our perceptions to determine how we react to someone or something. When we walk around with images of various types of people in our heads, we form stereotypes. For instance, blondes are ditzy. These stereotypes are generalizations made about a group of people in which certain traits are assigned to virtually all members of the group, regardless of the actual variation among the members. It's physical, mental, occupational, leading to positive or negative behaviors. Gordon Allport in 1954 described stereotyping as the law of least effort. It's too complicated for us to have a highly differentiated attitude about everything. Cognitive misers take shortcuts and adapt certain rules of thumb in order to attempt to understand other people. Stereotypes lump groups of people together by race, gender, and other categories. For example, Asians are all smart and quiet, or men are better at playing basketball than women. These false stereotypes discourage people. Take a look at the photo that I found, which describes most stereotypes. A few examples you can see is a black girl saying that her hair is real. Someone that's a minority saying, "We're not all Mexican." And a white girl that's saying, "I am not white trash." Another photo that I found was one for the "I'm tired" movement. It's people tired of being labeled and stereotyped. First one says, "I'm tired of being the angry black woman." The next one, "I'm tired of my intelligence being associated with my ethnicity." And lastly, "I'm tired of being perceived as aggressive." Let's continue on to the affective concept, emotions. It's hard to get someone to change their mind, and our emotions, needs, and self-concept get in the way of processing social information. How do I feel about a person? What are my attitudes towards him or her? It's all attitude based, and it's either implicit, which is automatic and unintentional. It's unconscious, negative feeling between groups. And then there's explicit, which is negative, and it's conscious prejudices. Next is the behavioral component. Prejudice often leads to discrimination, and discrimination is unjustified negative or harmful actions towards a member of a group solely because of his or her membership in that group. There are different types of discrimination. And although it's illegal to discriminate in a workplace or a school, it still happens. And stereotyping and prejudice always remains active. Few types of the discriminations are racial, gender, age, disability, and pregnancy. Let's take gender discrimination, for example. A woman is a small minority within a profession, and employers' prejudice justifies treating them differently and paying them less than a man. Take a look at the chart on the left. The PEW Research Center did a survey in 2017, and it says roughly 4 in 10 working women say they've experienced gender discrimination at work. Here's a few pictures that also describe discrimination. The Black Lives Matter movement. From Black Lives Matter to the pay gap, and even same-sex couples. In 2012, a same-sex couple filed a complaint against a cake decorator who refused to make them a wedding cake. The Supreme Court ruled 7-2 in favor of a Colorado baker because it would violate his First Amendment right and force him to make the cake. This case is an example of legal discrimination. Same-sex couples should have the same right to be equally served. In 28 states, you can be fired for being lesbian, bisexual, or gay. And in 30 states, you can be fired for being transgender. Many people have learned to hide their prejudice in situations that they could be labeled as a racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, and so on. There are self-defeating problems that occur as a result of these internalized feelings of being discriminated against. The self-fulfilling prophecy is any positive or negative experience about circumstances, events, or people that may affect a person's behavior towards. And then stereotype threat is the experience by members of a group that their behavior might confirm a cultural stereotype. For example, women or men hear different things about them. A woman could hear girls are bad at math, or a male hear that they aren't creative or can't wear that color. Those are all stereotype threats. The cause of prejudice is pressures to conform, which are normative rules. When contact reduces prejudice. Another example of prejudice is the Charlottesville white supremacists that were convicted after beating a black kid in a parking garage. The beliefs of these white supremacists. At the current moment, our country is extremely divided by red and blue, white or black. But if we educate ourselves and educate others, we can stop prejudice and make a positive difference. Barack Obama said it best when he said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones that we're waiting for. We are the change that we seek." Reducing prejudice involves the contact hypothesis. Being in contact with a diverse group of people helps reduce prejudice, but contact isn't always enough. contact reduces. It's an inner independence, a common goal, equal status, the opportunity for informal contact, the chance to interact with multiple members. The jigsaw classroom is a cooperative learning for children to interact with different ethnic groups and must cooperate to complete lessons, which increase students' self-esteem and their performance. It's never too late to give up our prejudice.